All right, episode 1 of our podcast. I am your host, Labeli, and next to me is.
Dookie, or you can also call me aka DoukieGaming on Twitch. So you can also follow me there as well as on Twitter. I'm called DoukieGaming there as well.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about the acquisition of Sony buying Bungie and Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. So one of the things that we did a bit of digging, right? Like Dookie, you found. I asked you to find some articles or some websites we could look through.
Yeah, there was a few of them actually, but let's see here. There
Yeah.
was some articles that wait, hold on. There was one I was looking at.
So
Made by, was it Reuters.com?
yeah, we like I have it up here on my browser. I looked through some of them, and basically what they said is that so apparently Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard for around like $69 billion. I think it's in dollars. I would assume so, and from what I can tell, it's supposed to be like the biggest amount paid to acquire another company, or at least a gaming company.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it was the biggest deal ever done in the gaming community or gaming society in
Industry,
entirety.
right? Like, I guess
Yeah,
the
the entire
gaming
industry was
Yeah.
basically the biggest deal that has actually gone down, and just that on its own, because as we all know, Blizzard has been on the downhill for quite some time now.
Oh yes, I
Due
mean,
to the entire lawsuit they had with the government and everything have going in, all the sexual harassment lawsuits, and yeah, don't even get me started, because a lot of the atrocities that they've done there should never be. No one should be able to should have to experience what they went through at a workspace. They went there because they had dreams. They were aspiring to like make games that for a company they have loved for so long. Just to be met with this, not being able to be respected or have a sense of privacy, because from what I've
yeah.
heard, it wasn't really like the most ideal workspace.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the stories too, or like saw like a few like headlines. But I haven't really been digging into like the whole thing. But from what I know of what I have seen over time is that World of Warcraft, which is like their most popular game, it had a peak, and then it started to decline very slowly. And to this day, I think that if you're like an avid gamer or like you have some nostalgia for the game, you can have fun with the World of Warcraft franchise. But I think as it is now, I hear a lot of more complaints than actually praises. So I don't know where it's at right now. Like what do you think of that?
Well, as a World of Warcraft player, and I was a previous World of Warcraft player. I am not a World of Warcraft player anymore. I quit that game a while back now, because as you said, the game was on a decline after, which expansion was this now? I think it was Warlords or Draenor? At least I know Legion, they started to get some people back, because the Legion expansion was actually good. I enjoyed it a lot. I played countless hours in it, and I mainly PvP'd, but I also have like countless hours of streaming it, because mostly of my streaming career actually started during Legion. The game was perfect. It was good. PvP was a little bit more like PvP wasn't really balanced per se, but at least it was manageable. And then we hit BFA. Yeah, BFA.
So I've heard that. I've heard that from around a lot, but like
Yeah.
BFA, what does it stand for? Like I'm totally
Um,
not familiar with like the whole terminology within the community. So like, what does it stand for?
the game is like the actual expansion itself is Battle for Azeroth, but for me it's Battle.
Oh, Okay.
Shisteroth. That freaking bro. No, literally.
Was it that bad?
It was shite.
To put it mildly, I guess.
Yeah, to put it mildly, that was definitely. Damn. Literally, the entire thing was just you have to farm Aetherite. Aetherite powers. Oh, you were doing PvP, but you'll have to go into PvE for this shit. Why? Why am I supposed to go into PvE when I'm supposed to use PvP? And then don't let me get started with some of the items that were completely broken to the point where like you wanted to own people in PvP. You basically got the best PvE items, and then you went in and you one-shotted people by default. They were just everything was just unbalanced.
So it sounds to me that the PvP community just got like screwed over completely.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, damn.
The PvP community got screwed over real hard.
That is one way to really like ruin your game, especially like I know for a fact that a lot of like MMO gamers really like the whole like PvP aspect of games, like if it's challenging, if it's fair, like it's the whole like test of skill. But damn, that sounds sad. But I guess that's why. Like they had to. So if they had this decline, and with their, it was also the Overwatch title, but it seemed to not go that well. They had like an esports scene, but it just seemed to like fade away. Like I don't know, like I knew there was like an esports scene for it, and I knew it had some interest. And they also had Heroes of the Storm, but like...
Yeah, the Heroes of the Storm wasn't really... Like, I played it, don't get me wrong. It's like, I like MOBA games.
Oh yeah, I played it too. I played it in the beta version, I think. But I stopped playing when it got fully released.
It like, the beta... Like, Heroes of the Storm is actually really... It's pretty fun. It's good for, like, a side game, but... I didn't play it too much. I played a little bit more when I was playing with my friends, but I kind of lost interest in it pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie. But like World of Warcraft after after Wrath of the Lich King, it started to decline. You know, World of Warcraft had its prime. And it's basically far away from the version it was before. Literally, you can't compare World of Warcraft to how it was before to now. Because on its own, I would say. It's not that fun for me anymore. Not even like I wouldn't even remotely think about starting it again, because there's no point going back to the game. Because right now, with the state the game is in, like let's say if I wanted to return to the game, right? Most games they want to try to make it easy for people to return to it. But in this one, for example, if I wanted to go like for me as a PvPer, I want to be able to compete with people on equal footing, right? I would have to spend a minimum of 100 hours just to catch up. I will not be in the same level. I will just be able to compete, but not at the same level like as the max tier, like max level. Like for let's say, I wouldn't be able to compete against gladiators, because my gear would be too shit still. But I would have been able to catch up to the bare minimum after 100 hours. I haven't played the new patches they've put it in a lot. I've heard that they've added some new patches. Some of my friends decided to like try the patch out, and what I heard from them, they said it was a complete waste of time.
Okay, so from what I can hear is that if you're feeling nostalgic about the game, then perhaps like give it a go. But if you're a newcomer, it might not. It sounds like there's not really a lot to give here.
Yeah, like I remember this from was it Savix? No, it wasn't Savix. It was another streamer that was playing. He's still been playing World of Warcraft actively, and this was a story from him. He was playing Arena with this one guy, and they had been playing a lot of games, literally a lot of games. But the thing is, this guy had been like he had PvP gear, but he had no Aetherite power. He had no legendary armors. He did not have any of the essentials to be able to compete in PvP properly, right? And then he asked this guy, "Is like, well, hey, hold on, why don't you have this?" He's like, "Well, I've just literally started playing the game," and he's like, "Okay." So this guy had been spending probably like 8 to 10 hours farming all the PvP gear, but he had none of the essential, like, was it legendary armors? He didn't have the right, what are they called again? I forgot what they were called again. It's like some side stats that you can get, or side perks. He had none of them. And to get all of this, he would have to spend hours upon hours upon hours to farm this shit. On the second that guy heard it, that guy logged out and quit the game. He logged out and he quit the game.
Wow. Yeah,
Because that's just too much just to catch up. Even for me, that has done some of it, if I wanted to return, I would have to spend at least minimum 100 hours to catch up.
Yeah,
properly.
I don't think I would commit that much time into it. Like, it just...
No. For me nowadays,
yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be a waste of my time. And quite frankly, I don't enjoy World of Warcraft anymore, whatsoever.
Yeah, but I also think, like, that there's no adult that there's, like, working full-time that has the time to actually, like, put in the hours to catch up.
Yeah, and they don't have time for it.
Yeah, and I know that you should try to bring in everyone, that everyone has a chance to, like, play the game. But doing it through microtransactions per se, or like other systems in the game, I don't think that it's the way to go. But obviously, the ones that are like really hardcore, like if we reduce the time it takes to farm set gear that you need, then obviously they're gonna get bored really fast. So
yeah,
I think literally, that it's really weird. It's a bit back and forth on who to please.
Well, from what I've heard, a lot, like, basically the WoW experience, there's been a lot of videos I've seen that are actually memeing about this. The WoW experience, you start playing the game, you buy gold via the in-game Battle.net store. You use that gold to buy boosts. And then once you've gotten your gear, you will notice that you don't have enough gear for another tier. Then you buy even more gold, and then you buy boosts. That's basically how it is right now to play World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big no for me. That's
yeah, for me too. That's a big ass no.
Yeah, no.
No.
That definitely doesn't sound like something I would.
But yeah, don't take my words for granted on this part. But that's just what I've heard. And from my own experience, I did never buy boosts and stuff like that. If I bought boosts, it would have been through gold that I've earned in game.
Okay.
But even then, since I was PvPing, I had no interest for the PvE aspect of the game, because I basically lost my interest for the PvE aspect of the game like around TBC, which was their second expansion. That's the expansion where I started to PvP. And since then, I just kept playing PvP since their second expansion. Because I liked PvP more. I felt like it was more engaging. It was way funnier to play that than the same boss over and over again, wiping there upon hours. I didn't feel like it was this fun. The mechanics and everything wasn't this. It didn't appeal to me anymore. After experiencing PvP, it just didn't feel like it was appealing for me anymore.
Yeah, so the interest just died completely.
It died out. Yeah, it just died out.
Fuck, man. That sounds really sad, actually. Like, my only experience with World of Warcraft, well, especially World of Warcraft, would definitely have been, I think it was the base game and then Burning Crusade. So I stopped playing around when what's it, the Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah,
that expansion. When that expansion came out, then it's like that was around the time when I slowly just kind of moved over to like other games, like other MMOs. I remember I actually did get like a job delivering like papers, newspapers or whatever. and there was this reward system, and I used that used the points from the reward system to essentially buy Cataclysm, the Cataclysm expansion. But then it was like, wait a second, why the heck did I buy this expansion when I don't play the game anymore? So what ended up happening is that my dad was so nice to me to trade it out for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. That was the time I had like my first experience with like the Call of Duty franchise on PC, because they did play it on PlayStation. But it's quite funny that like I ended up trading out a game that essentially nowadays now belongs under the same company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, the Activision Blizzard, they're the ones that basically own it.
Yeah. All right, so I think let's move on to Sony buying up Bungie. So in my notes here, I can see that it was for $3.6 billion. And damn, that's I thought it would be a bit more. But I think they just bought the studio, right? Whereas like Activision Blizzard, it's like two huge companies that merged and then Microsoft takes over it. So I think here with Sony buying Bungie, it's more so that Sony might have another studio to help making games. And I think it could be interesting to see what happens to Destiny 2.
Yeah.
The future for that game, it's definitely gonna look interesting. And I think we might see some movies maybe based on Destiny or Halo.
Yeah, because I heard that the ones that created Destiny, didn't they just separate themselves because they felt like they were restricted a lot?
Yeah.
Now that they're restricted, they're basically working on whatever they wanted to do, because there was a lot of things that the players wanted and some of the devs wanted to do, but they couldn't do that because they were told not to.
Yeah. Well, I definitely remember something about like the first Destiny game having a lot of like issues that were easily like they could easily be fixed. But like Destiny 2 has definitely like taken that standard and then like made it go up and beyond.
Yeah.
Because the way I see it is that like I've been playing Destiny 2, also I've been playing Halo, and I got like a pretty like feel good story. For that one a bit later. But definitely like Destiny 2 has recently come out with like a huge expansion. Now, granted, I haven't played that expansion.
Me neither, but I've seen some clips from it, and it looks
pretty cool.
There was one cutscene there that made me go like, wait, hold up, what? Basically, there's something called the darkness in the Destiny universe that has been chasing, the Traveler all the time. And you remember the hive mind, those insect-looking aliens that you keep fighting a lot. Do you remember those?
I think so. Yeah, it's been a while though. I think it's been a year since I was actively playing.
Yeah,
maybe even 2.
Apparently, the Traveler was about to choose them to give the light, but the darkness intervened and basically tricked them. And that's the reason why they're that evil right now, because of the darkness. The funny part is the darkness tried to reach the humans first, but got them.
Okay.
So basically, something that sparked some quite thoughts for me was where people were saying like, so the Traveler basically eats the people, and the darkness eats the world. AKA, Traveler takes over the people, while the darkness basically consumes their entire world and destroys it. I was like, wait, hold up, what?
it's always funny, right? Like most stories, it's always about like light and dark just like fighting each other. But I find it very interesting because like this, like it's just all it really is like you have one power and then another that's just clashing together, and you're just trying to find a reason for there to be a conflict, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, in a way, like you don't know what's good if you don't have the bad, and if you don't know what's bad, you don't know what's good, right? So it's like there's that dynamic.
Yeah, it's basically. I think I've heard something like there can't be no good without there can't be no light without darkness, or there can't something like that. An analogy of it. There's always going to be a good and bad side. You know, the yin and yang thing.
Yeah, it's just oh my. When we have this talk about like light and darkness, right? I just can't help but
we are yin and yang.
Yeah, it's that's the thought, right? But it's also Kingdom Hearts. It's also like it has like and Final Fantasy as well. It has some like the newest trailer for the game, like darkness.
Yeah, I'm playing it actively still, and the new story. Well, the newest expansion, the story.
Oh, you're talking about Final Fantasy Online, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But
that game.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Yeah, but now we're moving towards Square Enix, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should stay on topic. Yeah. But that could be for another episode. I think that would be quite interesting to talk about the Final Fantasy franchise because, goddamn, there are some childhood memories right there. All right, so. Yes. So besides Destiny 2, the Halo franchise, my God, it has been. For me, I remember the Halo franchise just like since forever. Like it was part of my childhood. Like I remember like, and here's the story. Like I went over to my childhood friend's house, right? And he had this like Xbox, so I never owned an Xbox, I'll admit that. But he had this Xbox, like, you know, the very first version. And then we just sat down on, you know, some what's called the bean bags or whatever, beanbag chairs. And then we just sat there and we just played that game for hours, man. Played the campaign, played the multiplayer. Like it was so fun, so many good memories of that. And I just remember that once Halo 2 came out, and like the continuation of most of the games, it was just really fun to play, and we kept going. And I just remember my childhood friend's dad, right? He was insane, and I still think he quite is. Like he went on the hardest difficulty in Halo 1 and just beat the game in one setting, just like in one night, just speedrunning. Like before I knew what speedrunning was, he just did it. So I have really fond memories of it. And also remember my cousin actually literally bought an Xbox 360 and bought like the whole collection of the Halo games that was within that time and played through all of them. And once he was done, he was like and then he just sold the whole the whole thing, like the Xbox, the games, all of it, just sold it. He was like, okay, I played the games, that was it. Like he wasn't impressed enough to actually wanted to keep it, I guess.
Well, I have a lot of childhood memories with it as well. Like I own my own Xbox and all that, and I played all, like most of it. Like I basically played all of the Halo games except the new ones that has just recently come out. I played Halo ODST. I played the Halo 1, 2, and 3. Heck, when I met my girl, she had one of the Halos I hadn't played yet. So I was playing that when I met her the first time, when she was away at work. And honestly, like all of the Halo game, the entire franchise, and soon there's gonna be a series coming out too for it. There's gonna be a TV series for it.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Earlier. Yeah, because I remember seeing a trailer on social media.
Yeah.
It was about like Master Chief regaining his emotions or something like that, like his consciousness. Uh, I don't know, like trailers just reveal way too much, man. Like I feel like
Yeah, I didn't look much. I basically
yeah,
looked 2 3 seconds, and I was like, "Alright, I'm gonna watch this, and I'm not gonna see anymore," because that way, as you said, some trailers usually basically spoil too much. That's
yeah,
why I never watch trailers too much. I
yeah.
check a little bit. Does it look interesting? I give it a shot. If it's a bad movie, well, meh. At least I watched it, and now I can give my opinion about it.
Yeah,
And
like trailers today, they just like it's riddled with spoilers. Like you can watch a trailer and you can predict how the movie's gonna end.
yeah,
Like
basically.
yeah, it's like if you see the trailer, you've seen the movie, so it's like why bother? And I think
Now for
it's just
me,
really stupid in a way.
that in that way, my girl, like whenever we see what we look at a movie together, she can already predict the end. Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the movie, she's like, "This is gonna happen." I'm like, "Nah, that's not gonna happen," and that shit happens. And I'm just like,
Oh,
"What?" I was
yeah.
like, "What?" Well, she loves movies. She has a huge collection, and whenever we watch a movie, she can already predict what's about to happen. And when I'm like, What's gonna happen?" She won't tell me. She's like, "You will see." And then she is
Uh,
usually has a
I
smile.
mean,
But I digress. But
yeah,
yeah,
but like trailers in general, they just don't do it anymore. Like it for me personally, I try to avoid it. Like I really want to watch Spider-Man No Way Home,
mm-hmm.
and I've tried to avoid everything that is like out there. Been trying to avoid it because I just don't want it. And while we're talking about Sony, god damn, I'm so glad Sony like keep making these Spider-Man movies. Like I know it's kind of stupid that like with the franchise and everything, but man, like I what I hope for, like what I sincerely hope for is gonna happen is that now that Sony has Bungie, I
Yeah.
want to see Insomniac and Bungie do like a collab, you know, like maybe trying to make like a spin-off Spider-Man game with like Halo aesthetics, or now that Sony has Bungie, maybe we can get like a Master Chief Spider-Man suit or some shit like that for like a cameo. That would be so fucking funny. That would get me excited. I would like to. Would
That would
definitely like to
actually
see
be
that.
interesting to see.
Yeah, I know,
Like
right? Like
I can
or
tell you, like I'm
crossover.
not that big of like I should say, I'm not that big of like a hardcore, Spider-Man, all these Marvel. Like I love, like don't get me wrong, I love the movies and everything, but I am not that hardcore into it. Like I enjoy the movies, I enjoy the series. Like when I was younger, I was way more into that. But as I've grown older, like it's just for me, it's just like it's just another movie, another game. Just
Yeah.
depends on what interests me. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel the same way about like certain things that I have slowly like grown out of, like DC characters.
Yeah,
I don't go there anymore. But for me specifically, it's like Spider-Man. But it's just quite funny that it is Sony that owns the right to Spider-Man. You know, like the character.
yeah.
So I just think it would be interesting. Like, heck, for all we know, now that Sony has Bungie, we might have like a Spider-Man skin or Spider-Man suit in Destiny 2, or
Wouldn't surprise me if they actually added something like
yeah,
that. To be
or
honest.
like in Halo, right? Like they can do some crossover things. They can work on something that might actually be quite interesting, and I would really like to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But as it is right now, we can only like speculate what they're gonna do with it. They only acquired it this year, and we wrote this episode, or the topic for this episode. We kind of like we had the script for it and was sitting there for like at least a month, I would say.
Yeah.
So some things might have developed, but we haven't really looked into it, haven't we?
No, I can say for certain I haven't.
Yeah, like I
We have had a lot of stuff going on that has basically prevented us in a way from being able to do it.
yeah, yeah, I haven't put the time into finding out if it works, but
Yeah.
all right. So I think that wraps up this episode. I yeah, I think that's it. Like we could talk about more, but I think we're gonna keep the first episode a little bit short and on the sweet side. So yeah, I guess from here, from the Scandinavian Gaming Lounge, I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching until the end, and we will see you guys until next time.
Yeah. And as I said before, do not forget to follow us on our Twitter as well. We have the Scandinavian Gaming Lounge Twitter, so follow us there. We're gonna keep our updates and mostly post whenever there's a new episode, or if you guys want to just get in touch with us, or if you guys want to guest and sit with us as well on our podcast, you can get in touch with us there. This basically the Scandinavian. Wait, hold on. Yeah, Scandinavian. Wait, hold on. No, hold on.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have. Yeah, but we're gonna have our social links in the description.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you
we're
just
gonna
click on it there and like try to see what we have and just look at it that way, right? So
yeah,
that's the best way. But I guess we're gonna sign off with what's gonna be our signature goodbye. So 1, 2, 3, skål!
Skål!
Hey, there we go. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right. See you, boys and girls, of course.
Of course.